Hey guys, Matt Donald here. I just wanted to let you know that from now on, the Patreon message is going to be at the very end of the episode to not get in your way, so you can go straight away into join the dumb dinosaur content that Paleobites provides. If you want to know how to join the Patreon and get bonus content, stick around a little bit after the show. And after this month, this message will no longer be here either, so to the Paleobites, chomp chomp.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that, like most of the hypotheses of paleontologist Jack Horner, is utter nonsense. My name is Matthew Dahl, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by fellow Jack Horner, not hater's not the right word, we appreciate some of his work, but doubter, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's Ben O'Regan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm racking my brain trying to think of a word to describe what you're using there as well.
It's
I
like
guess a skeptic,
doubt,
maybe.
not doubt. I mean, like, because I appreciate... What?
Skeptic, maybe, just because some of his claims...
Skeptic, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Skeptic, yes.
Long story short, if
like,
you've
I
heard
appreciate
us
a lot of the
before,
work
we
he's done.
don't agree with him on Tyrannosaurus or Taurosaurus.
Or I don't agree with him on Pachycephalosaurus and Stygimoloch. Dracorex, apparently...
Oh, is that him too?
Well, yeah, that was him too, yeah. Him saying that Dracorex and Stygimoloch were all just different growth rates of Pachycephalosaurus. That was him too.
I'm open to that one, but not convinced.
It's from research I've been finding, it looks like Stygimoloch might be its own. Dracorex less likely to be so. So we might be able to save Stygimoloch at least. But
Dracorex I could buy just from the little attention I pay to it in Jurassic World Evolution, but Stygimoloch's skull changes are way too drastic to be a growth stage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
why
too.
would you grow big horns and then lose them again?
I know, I've always said this before, and whenever I ask them about that, they're like, well, what they think happens is that the dinosaur skulls, they say, are very anamorphic. So, like, they think that the material from the spikes gets transferred from the spikes into the dome, and I'm like, cool, but what is another example of that?
Yeah,
and
we've not got any living animal that does that. Even goats don't do that.
Yeah, like, you say that dinosaurs are very anamorphic, and skulls is very, and I believe you, but I'm trying to think of another example of, like, that kind of drastic recalibration of material.
The bones and stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's one thing to know that dinosaurs went through growth stages insofar as they occupied different niches and certain species at different times, like Nanotyrannus being a juvenile T-Rex, we now think. And that's
that
why
one's
there's such a high species diversity, but even then, it's not fully proven.
Right. Well, it's like, it depends, like, on, like, how big or how little it is, because, you know, you got in, like, for instance, in, like, the jungles of Southeast Asia today, it's like you have a bunch of different birds, a bunch of different lizards, a bunch of different frogs, but in terms of big macro predators, you got just one tiger, the Bengal tiger, and that's kind of it. I mean, I guess you got variants of that Bengal tiger, but and I guess also never mind. There's a Sumatran tiger, and like you know what? Never mind. That was a bad example. So.
No, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, there's one big predator, whereas and it seems like in Lurimedia and if I've got my names right for Western US back then, Tyrannosaurus was like the only big predator we know of, and then there's a bunch of small things. So as T-Rex is growing up, its bigger stages.
Yeah, there's smaller predators.
Predatory
because there was like whatever Dakotaraptor ends up being. Paleontology is an ever-evolving field. Speaking of ever-evolving, like this creature, Austroraptor. That's my segue. It's ever-evolving in that, it's a dromaeosaur, technically, but it looks like a spinosaur, meaning it probably had a similar ecological niche. So, I can
see that
thief,
from the image, actually. Just that very glacial build, the crocodile-like snout.
Yeah, like, if you look at, like, the long snout, like, it looks very similar to like a Suchomimus or like or even like a crocodile, or like even if you look at bears, like a lot of bears have long snouts compared to like particularly the ones that eat fish, like a grizzly bear versus like a Himalayan brown bear. You can tell the difference in how long the snout is.
Indeed, and it seems for a dromaeosaur it has very short arms.
Yeah. And then it has very graceful legs, though, like it was meant for, like, running, like a stork, kind of.
Yeah, because quite a few dromaeosaurids, their legs are actually proportionally quite short compared to their arms, meaning they were probably ambush predators.
Yeah. ambush predators and like meant for like tigers, while this is more like a cheetah or a mountain lion, meant for running. Anyway, so it means southern thief. Type, like I said, it's a dromaeosaurid. Size, 16 to 20 feet, so it's 5 to 6 meters long. 660 to 1,150 pounds, 300 to 520 kilograms, making it among the largest of all dromaeosaurids alongside Utahraptor, Dakotaraptor, and Achillobator. So that's pretty cool.
And even the lower estimate of its size is pretty big.
Like 16 feet's nothing to sneeze at. That's like imagine seeing a 16-foot long. I mean, most of our mammals are tall rather than long. That's why we measure them by the shoulder up to the shoulder. But like, I feel like 16 feet long is at least as long as an elephant. Like,
bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, how long is an elephant? Hold on. Let me.
Well, it depends on the elephant. If it's the Asian elephant, it's a different size to the African.
Right. Let's do Asian. I feel like an African elephant's more than 16 feet long. African elephant's about 9 feet tall though, or 10 feet tall. So, okay, size. Here we go. Okay, shoulder height. I don't want shoulder height. I want length. Chat GTP. I know people are like, yeah, don't use it. I'm like, it's too useful. Google sucks now. Chat GTP.
Google really does suck now.
It's
the same 10 results. You don't find all the hundreds of pages you used to.
Okay, so an African bush elephant is 18 to 24 feet, an African forest elephant is 12 to 18 feet, and Asian elephant is 18 to 21 feet. So only the African bush elephant can be as long as... not the Asian elephant can be as long as its maximum length. It's longer than the African forest elephant. Now, obviously, it's not as tall, but still, that's pretty impressive.
I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but it's not just any dromaeosaurid, is it? It's a Unealaginae or something?
Yeah. I believe so.
Really
Yes.
hard to pronounce.
Yeah, it's that weird group. Yeah, that includes Austroraptor, another type of one
as well.
Yeah, that one is it's named after a Polish guy. So I did an episode on that once. But anyways,
not
diet
surprising
carnivore.
if it's found in Mongolia, because a lot of the fossil finds over there were done by Polish and Soviet expeditions.
Makes sense indeed. I remember looking that up about like why Kyrgyzstan is starting to become much more of a hotbed for fossils now, like with that new Metriacanthosaurid that was discovered there recently, and a few others. And when I looked it up, I was like, maybe it's because the Soviet Union had it closed off for a while, because it takes a while.
Indeed, and those Central Asian republics are also a bit dysfunctional too, so factor that in.
Yeah. Exactly. Diet carnivore, time Late Cretaceous, 72 to 66 million years ago. So this was a victim of the meteor. So it wasn't killed specifically by the meteor itself. I mean, it's not like the meteor landed on top of it, but it was a victim of the dust clouds and all this, and the usual death and destruction. Described in 2008, pop culture appearances. Prehistoric Planet is the main one so far. Although I could see this going to Ark Survival Evolved at some point too, where you could probably write it on the. I think that'd be cool.
And it's interesting because it's not just a dromaeosaurid, but a large one and a presumably a pretty high level predator ecological role in a continent that at this point in time was dominated by abelosaurids.
Yeah, this is the time of the abelosaurids. The
Carcharodontosaurids went out, didn't they?
Yeah, the Carcharodontosaurids, like Giganosaurus or whatever, they were long extinct by this point. This was the time of the abelosaurids back then, so it would have to have tackled with Carnotaurus and like... there's that one big one that they found recently. I forget exactly. It doesn't have a name. There's one that's called, I forget what it's called. I heard about it. It's like the something tyrant, or it's called the something giant. It's like the Nepali giant. It's not Nepali. It's a currently undescribed abelosaurid that's like 35 feet long. I forget. Oh god. Yeah, it's like. Dang, I want to see if I can find... Hold on, I know exactly where I found, and they did a bunch of... I'd
love to know why the Carcharodontosaurids seem to have gone, if not entirely extinct, majorly declined. I mean, I know it happens, but I'd love to know why, because they're my favourite carnivores.
They are my favourite, sorry. The abelosaurids, yeah, they don't look like they should be better than them, but they are. Well, not better, I guess, from an ecological standpoint, it's better. It's like... I guess maybe they're more primitive, yeah, but I guess they work better. I don't know. Like, the Kenyan giant is what it's called. Okay.
Yeah, it's making me think of those giant abelosaurids from the Speculator Dinosaur Project, like the one called the Black Beast in Africa, and it's like just this big.
Oh, I remember that
Disney
one. Isn't
Carnotaur
that the cover photo of the PDF book? That thing.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Kenyan giant. Let me see if I can find this here. Its illegitimate name currently is Titanovenator. That's not an official name. Species name remains unknown. Yeah, it's up to 36 feet long. Multiple cranial, axial columns, and appendicular skeletal isolated specimens. The Kenyan giant is known from the Lapar Mountains of Turkana, Kenya. It was first discovered in 2022. It has not been described yet, so don't know how this information is out there yet. It hasn't been described, I guess. Oh, the specimen was described the original specimen was described in 2013, but it was not given a name. The name is created by Taylor McCoy, the paleontological volunteer, the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. So it's been studied for a while, but I guess it doesn't have a name yet. When the Turkana grits abyssosaurid finally receives a scientific name, they say it will not be Titanovenator, though. I don't know. But yeah, so it's a
shame. That's a cool name.
Yeah, Titanovenator kenyaensis is the illegitimate name of it. Good stuff. But it's not related to Austroraptor. But it's about dinosaurs, so it's somewhat related. But before we get off track again, because peek behind the curtain, listeners, this is actually the second time we've recorded this episode. Because the first time I was doing the edits, I'm like, we emerald too much. This is actually for the first time in 270 episodes. It's an unreleasable episode. I have quality control. Can you believe it? If you can believe it, based on the crap that I've let through before. But
I believe it.
Thanks. Yeah, I like to make sure it's good. It's interesting. So it says some of Austroraptor's skull bones bear some resemblance to those of the smaller troodontids, which I guess is an interesting bit of parallel evolution, because at this point they're not really that closely related. They would be split off by that point. And like you said, you're talking about like its forelimbs being reduced. The only other genuses that have those similar reduced forelimbs, it's Tanuraptor, Jinyuanglong, and Mahakala. They also are ones with severely reduced forelimbs. It's interesting
those are a mouthful.
Well, one of them is Chinese. Tanuraptor, that's also Chinese. Mahakala sounds African. Oh, it's Gobi Desert. Never mind.
I was going to say it sounded Hawaiian, almost.
It does sound Hawaiian when I think about it, yeah. It's from Sanskrit. It's a classical language belonging to the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European languages. Okay, cool. What does it mean? Hold on. That's another Hauscaraptorine, yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So, again, that's another Hauscaraptor, which was, yeah, wow. So, it really seems like they're having the fish-eating dromaeosaurids, like this one, like Hauscaraptor and like Mahakala, they seem to have really reduced forelimbs. I guess maybe that's because maybe their claw on their foot, they use that instead to like spear fish.
And isn't one of the functions of dromaeosaurid arms, at least speculation-wise, because again we don't really have proof, that they were used for balance in combination with any feathers they still had to obviously they did have them, but on the arms to balance along with their tail while they hooked onto their prey with their legs.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's kind of
now more for gripping, they believe.
That's kind of how they think T-Rex used its arms too, where it's like it grabbed onto, while it was biting with its mouth, it hooked onto it with its little arms too, because that's why they were so strong, those arms.
I could kind of see that, but I don't really see why it would need to.
Just a little, I guess just insurance, precaution, I don't know.
It's probably also used them for getting up when it slept too, if it slept like chest down.
That's true. Well, because I had to get up eventually. Like, I loved the Zoo Tycoon variants, though, where it's like, how did it get up? It didn't. It slept standing up.
I always thought that was so derpy.
The way it just put its head down and just snored.
I'm just looking at it's tied a bit to that, but not necessarily. Just there's a bit saying contemporaneous known fauna from the Allen Formation, or Alien Formation, if I'm reading that right. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sauropods, presumably titanosaurs. And then there's
the Allen Formation.
Yeah, and there's 3 hadrosaurs of some sort.
Yeah, there's 4 hadrosaurs is what I have here. I've never heard of any of them.
Bonaparte-saurus.
Winkelacakis, Kulumposaurus, Bonaparte, yeah. And then the other sauropods, theropods. Wow, listen to all these dinosaur names that just roll off the tongue. Bonapartensis, Lamarquiavis, Liminavis, Neil. This one is 6. Yeah, this one, this abyssosaurid, it's 6 letters, but it's so Neibla. Neobla? How is that one difficult to pronounce? It's 6 letters.
It's still kind of hard to pronounce.
Yeah, but it is, no, I'm saying it is. That's the thing. Like it's for some reason. Oh, I've heard of Aerotitan, the pterosaur that's from there. That was in that is in Jurassic World the game.
Aerotitan. Where's that
it's
one?
the pterosaur in the Allen Formation page on Wikipedia. You scroll down to pterosaurs.
I'm only looking at the image on the Austroraptor page. That'll be why.
Okay, yeah, the Allen Formation. Go to the Allen Formation page.
But it seems like just on the image that I can see, because I'll link it to you just in case you can't see it, is it seems like Austroraptor is actually the biggest one there, like predator wise.
Oh yeah, wow, look, in terms of predators, oh yeah, look at that. Wow, that yeah, those other ones look puny.
I mean, there's a Climasaurus or something, Curie, that looks to be a bit bulkier, but
yeah,
length and height wise, this thing's pretty much tight.
Yeah, and also Niambla over there too is also bulkier but much smaller. Yeah.
There's even a small Pteridopelta. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
I've heard of that one too. That hadrosaur there, Kinlumpasaurus, it's nearly as big as the sauropods. It's bigger than some of them. Wow.
That's one thing you can counter off hadrosaurids and just sauropods in general. Some of them can get quite sauropod size, especially the smaller size sauropods, but in terms of bulk, but they never get as tall though as the biggest ones because they don't have the same limb configuration or hollow bones.
Shantungosaurus is about as long as Camarasaurus, which is incredible to me. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like some areas where you had like Indricophium or whatever it's been renamed to, the long-necked rhinos.
Once
they ran out of the picture in these regions, elephants took over in them.
Yeah, I think the current genus that was Paraceratherium, they were just Indricotheres though, but yeah. But yeah, no. Although I don't think I always think it's so funny about not iguanodons, actually the opposite of iguanodons, of hadrosaurs compared to iguanodons. Their forelimbs are so weak and pitiful looking. Like they look so little and spindly. Like I remember when in my old version of Megazoic when I had Xyler, the Shantungosaurus, who had big bulky arms.
And it's actually the other way around, big bulky legs, skinny arms.
Yeah, like the iguanodons had big bulky arms, and I guess that's how it was. I think the reason why I got confused is because iguanodons had big bulky arms, and for walking with dinosaurs, for walking with dinosaurs, they reused the iguanodon model and modified slightly for what they called Anatotitan, even though it was Edmontosaurus as we know now. So their model of
did that quite a lot.
Yeah, they reused. I mean, it makes sense. TV budget, got to save, cut corners how you can. So it makes sense. But it does give mean that like the Anatotitan in that show does have big bulky arms and also thumb spikes if you look closely enough. Yeah. So I guess like my little kid brain.
What are they called? Mutabarosaurus too. They're clearly modified iguanodons with nasal sacs.
Well, that one makes more sense because they're actually closer related. So
yeah.
But like, so, and even in my current version of Megazoic, I have an Edmontosaurus who uses his bulk a few times to like, he brings down what's called a super enforcer robot. I have this great bit where, I'm proud of it, I wrote it, but like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, where he had to relinquish his gun because he's kicked out from the laser corps at this point, but then he sees this super enforcer attacking someone he knows, and after all the stuff that's happened to him, he's really angry. He's like, he decides to attack it without his gun. He's like, true, he had to relinquish his gun, but he was still a 6-ton dinosaur. So, but yeah, no, but so the point is, like, I misinterpreted the arms of the hadrosaurs. They're not bulky, and also they don't even have. You know how many fingers technically Edmontosaurus has on the front? It has one. It has one hoof.
Yeah, because its first 3 fingers are basically semi-merged into a hoof.
Yeah, like I had in my books, I had them holding things, and I'm just like, but now they just have a hoof, a singular hoof. I refuse. Nah, it's probably fun. If I'm working on the movie version, and when I show that, I'll probably have the hoof, but like separated into 3 fingers, with like each one ending with like a third of the hoof.
I don't get why the front arms are so small. I mean, obviously it's enough to support their bulk, but you'd think that they would shrink their leg muscles a bit and bulk up their front arms to be more front stable. Because even though a lot of them seem to be bipedal, they didn't seem to spend all that much time as bipeds.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they seem to be built as bipeds, but they walk quadrupedally. So like I don't know, but they always are depicted this way currently. So clearly the scientists know more than we do. So
clearly, even when they get things
because,
wrong, that's the whole point of science is to keep checking.
That's the thing. Like I always like if I don't understand something about paleontology, it's almost certain, or about anything really, it's almost certainly. Like I'm just there's information I'm just not getting. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. It means that I'm wrong or I'm misinformed. And that's true of anyone. I wish so many people throughout history and throughout currently now, I wish so many people would understand if they don't get something, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means you don't have all the information. There's people smarter than you who know more than you do about this subject who do know how it works. So
exactly.
Like
now,
I don't know why it's so hard for
necessarily
people.
right, but they definitely know more than the person who doesn't know.
Right, they've been, it's like all the people trying to debunk science and for the flat Earth cause, but like, look at this, it does this, why does it do that, huh? What do you think about that, scientists? Like, scientists have thought about that, you're wrong. Man, anyway, sorry, Austroraptor.
Well,
you know,
at
it's
least
funny,
we're on topic this time.
We are, like, that's the thing, it sounds like we're not, but this is actually far more on topic than before, because like, we were talking about, like, the potential, So, but when we recorded. But yeah, Austroraptor is just a current case of a fascinating case of convergent evolution, where it's clearly meant to be like a fish eater. Like it has conical, non-serrated teeth, which is also good for catching fish. It's just
because you don't want
fourth
stuff
toe
that slices through it, because the fish might just slip out.
Right. No, exactly. So, having the conical teeth, it's a very good fishing thing. So it's a dromaeosaur that shows the wide variety of dromaeosaur types. Like I said, like it's a similar size to Austroraptor, but Austroraptor is so much different looking. Austroraptor is big and bulky. Like this is
like
lean and Austroraptor kind of looks like a small Allosaurus with a bunch of feathers. Honestly, like in terms of bulk, not in terms of really shape, but like Oh my god!
It's good to know that there's so much diversity in dromaeosaurids, even though they're pretty conservative with their overall design.
Right? No, there is for sure. Like, I didn't realize Sauronitholestes was dromaeosaur. I thought that was Troodontid.
I thought it was too. What's the status of Troodontids at the moment? Because the last thing I heard, there's not actually a dinosaur called Troodon anymore.
Troodon itself is a nomen nudum, but Troodontids are real.
Yeah, I know that because they're sort of like dromaeosaurids, but sort of not, eh?
Okay, the thing is, like, the thing that was classified as Troodon was the tooth, apparently. They used to think that the skeleton... the one I'm thinking was Stynonoicosaurus. They thought that was synonymous with Troodon. Then it turns out the thing that they lumped together Troodon with, Stynonoicosaurus, was most of it, and the tooth was the only thing that was separate from it. And since we don't have enough to say so basically what you think of a Troodon, it still exists, it's just Stynonoicosaurus.
Well, that's good to know, because that brings to mind the whole Brontosaurus situation, where it was an Apatosaurus with a Camarasaurus skull added on by accident.
But then now Brontosaurus is back.
What is it now? Just a typical Apatosaurid, eh?
Yeah, because it turns out like Apatosaurus was split in I think 12 species, and 2 of them were found not to be different enough that they separated it into Brontosaurus. They were like,
nice.
we could rename this. Hey, Brontosaurus is available. So Brontosaurus is back. But yeah, so in terms of it's sort of like how the whole. Did you hear what happened with Saurophagonex recently?
No.
It's out. It's officially out. So
it's just an Allosaurus.
It's not just it's an Allosaurus. The fossil that we found that was like a super enlarged Allosaurus-like creature with the unique traits that were put into it were actually the holotype. It's a chimera, because those were mixed together with some sauropod fossils, like a diplodocid.
What the hell? How did that happen?
I don't know, but like, so the diplodocid fossils were thought to be part of the Saurophagonex, so they put them together in this big thing. But it turns out once they found out those were separate, and then they separated the rest from that wasn't. It was basically just, it's still a large Allosaurus. Like, it's not quite as big as Saurophagonex was, but and then now there's a new Allosaurus called Allosaurus anax, A-N-A-X. That's basically what Saurophagonex used to be, just a little bit smaller. So. And as a fan of Saurophagonex, that's a shame, but that is science for you. Saurophagonex is actually in my final of my Megazoic books, the current ones, and the species is pretty important, so I'm just gonna, and since I'm redoing the covers for them and reselling them, I'm actually going to go out of the way to like change this genus. It's gonna be, he's gonna be an A-Anax, so it's written like T-Rex, instead it's A-Anax, so.
A-Anax.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes around in science that changes, and maybe something about Austroraptor will change. Who knows? But currently, it being a spinosaurid, dromaeosaurid is really cool, and so I'm going to give it a 56 million. What do you think?
Given that the remains are still fairly incomplete, we've got most of the leg, finger and arm bone, and some neck and jaw stuff. I'll probably give it a 30 million for now.
Yeah, we have the most important parts of the skull, so that's good, but still, like, to know its shape, but yeah.
Like, it could turn out to be a dromaeosaurid that had bugger all tail, for all we know.
It's true. I've always wondered that, like, some of the ones, like, I did an episode recently on, Udanoceratops? It's a leptoceratopsid with a big chungus head.
Rings a bell.
But, like, if you look at what the skeleton is known, we just know the head, so I don't know why so many people... I mean, we have bits of the vertebrae in the back, but very, very small bits, so I don't know why we think the head is so disproportionately large. I guess maybe if we have since we have the spines, we think that, like, we have the vertebrae, I mean, we know kind of how the rest of it is. But yeah, look at the dinosaurs, look at that big chungus head. Looks like a freaking wrench.
Oh, crikey. That looks like the kind of animal Steve Irwin would have had a fun time with.
Oh, yeah. And it's big, too. Look at that. That head is 1 meter long. So the whole thing was probably about the size of a small Styracosaurus.
Crikey. Oh, because Styracosaurus isn't that big.
No, it really isn't. Most ceratopsians are not that big. Triceratops is exceptionally big at 30 feet long. Most of them are like 15 to 20 feet long, if that.
Just when you were speaking about head size I was trying to wrap my brain. I remember saying, what's the name of that big archosaur from the Triassic that has like a massive head?
Europs? Not Europs, that's a different one. I know what you're talking about. Oh, God, what's it called? I know there's one with a really small head.
Chunk of
small
its
head called...
its head.
Yeah. It's like Antiosaurus, I think. There's one like that. There's like, that's for the Permian, though. I'm trying to think. What is it called?
Antiosaurus is a
is a dinocephalian. Let's see, Triassic big head.
I'm looking it up myself now.
I searched it. The first thing comes up is Erythrosuchus. I think this might be it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Look at that guy.
I mean, look at this construction here.
I love how I Googled Triassic big head. Yep, that's the one I was looking at. Because it knew what I was talking about. It knew.
I don't know what'd be worse to get attacked and eaten by that thing, which is a more traditional predator, or by Austroraptor with its conical teeth, because that would make it a more drawn-out death.
Yeah, I feel like the Austroraptor I'd be more scared of. Like, more frightened of, I guess. I feel like I could outrun this guy. I don't think I could outrun the Austroraptor.
Although Austroraptor, you'd probably have a good chance of being able to punch it in the snout in such a way that it lets go of you.
This
guess, thing would just swallow you.
It's kind of like punching an emu, though. I don't think it would do that much good.
Better than... no, punching an emu wouldn't do much. Not that I've done that, or not that I'm going to admit to doing that. But
no, I don't condone it, but I'm just saying... An emu, I think, is more dainty. Well, actually, no, the body isn't. The head and neck is more dainty than the Austroraptor. So, but if I land, I get a good punch on the side of the head. No, I feel like it would just enrage it further. But with this guy, all I could do is run, because if I tried to punch that, it would do nothing against Erythrosuchus.
And friendly but fair warning to you and any listeners: if you're near an emu and it's like in a zoo, or just an area behind a fence, and you turn your back to it, they can pick. One of them at Wellington Zoo did that to me when I used to volunteer there, and it was blooming painful. Didn't draw blood or anything,
sure.
but it was like, what the hell was that?
Absolutely.
Emus
so
and
right,
cassowaries are dangerous.
Though cassowaries are more dangerous. Emus are dangerous. Cassowaries are more dangerous. Exactly. Yeah. So
I'd actually argue the emu's more dangerous because the Australians lost a war to them.
That is true. I feel like if there was a war with the cassowaries would use nukes fairly quickly.
True.
So that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at palebytespodcast at palebytespodcast@gmail.com, Palebytes Podcast on Blue Sky, and Palebytes Podcast on Instagram. You can find me at social media at Matthew Donald Creator on Facebook and Matthew64 everywhere else. If you want to contact the co-host, just send an email and I'll relay the messages to them. I have a book series on Amazon, Megazoic, available for print and Kindle. No Austroraptor in it, I checked, which is a shame. I think it'd be a good co-op sort of dinosaur, like sneaking through the waters to get to an enemy base, like sneaking through the nearby river
wall. You could do a side
wall.
story of Megazoic, like small stories set around before the main stories, and you could have it as a sewer worker.
I like that. It's a sewer worker. I've thought about doing like side stories like that.
They're trying
for
to find
things.
out why the sewer system's playing up, and then it turns out that somehow reality's gotten screwed up, and the idiot from the old Megazoic's there, and it's like, why is there a stegosaur in the sewer?
This stegosaur is nothing like the stegosaurus we know, Zolgara. This guy's an idiot. Yeah. So,
It's like, what is Mud doing down here? And you could have Mud do a poo joke.
of course, like mud's in the sewer. Mud. Oh man.
Well,
All right,
no,
that's
it's
it for
like
this week.
You see
Yep.
a toilet blocking, and you think it's about to be a bunch of crap coming out. No, it's actually a stegosaurus coming out.
Well, imagine. Gets back to like, oh no, it's gonna shoot out, and then out pops out a freaking stegosaurus.
It's just that like, if you've ever seen Ace Ventura 2, there's that scene at the
Oh,
start
my
where he
God.
climbs out of the fake rhino.
Yes.
That's what came to
It's
mind.
I've seen that GIF. I didn't know the context. Thank God it's a fake rhino. I had no idea. I thought in universe, and obviously they didn't climb into a thing in the movie for the real rhino for the filming of the movie. I thought in the movie he climbed into a real rhino's ass. I'm like,
No,
it's a fake. Good to know. Okay.
it was just said across the audience out.
Oh man. Anyways, that's it for this week.
Alrighty.
So long.
See you, everyone.